you want to sit down? I said, what? She went, you've got the job, you start tomorrow. I still get choked talking about it.
That's amazing.
And I was like, what? She went, they're biking your scripts now.
Yeah.
You need to take in a pair of denim hot pants. They've got your tops and a pair of trainers. She went, you start tomorrow, kid. Well done. He knocked on the door, two brothers. And I was like, hello, come in the room. Sat down, I want to talk to you. I thought, okay. They went, listen, your first episode goes out tomorrow. Friday morning, your life's changing. For someone?
Yeah, so Daniella Westbrook joined EastEnders. Daniella Westbrook confronted EastEnders replacement and left her taken aback. Daniella Westbrook lashes out at EastEnders.
You better look at you. You might as well be dead. Merry Christmas.
Mostly in theatre and stuff like that, heavily abused. And then it went to being used to do shows and parties and things like that. And again, you're getting abused. And that's when I first ever got given hope.
Cocaine did this to TV's Danny.
Photographed in the early hours, she tilted back her head to reveal a
Daniella
revolting
Westbrook's
hole.
friends say the star has been left homeless.
Daniella Westbrook has been rushed to hospital.
A lot of people know about that photo. So what happens when that picture comes out? You wake up the next
I woke up
day.
in Priory. They put me straight in the Priory that night. They knew I'd wake up and I'd kill myself.
Welcome to On The Record with Chloe B, where I invite celebrities on to tell their truth behind the headlines. You can listen every Monday at 6 p.m. on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. So guys, welcome to On The Record with Chloe B. I know it's been a long-awaited return and I thought I'd come back with a bang. So I've invited my lovely friend, Daniella Westbrook, on to tell the truth behind the headlines. Welcome, Daniella.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you here. I mean, whenever I have a guest on the podcast, I always look through and I always think to myself, what can we talk about? And with you, I thought, what can we not talk about? Because there's actually too much to speak about.
No, I've been around forever. I've got 3 lives.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? My mum always used to say to me, I feel like I've lived 6 lives. And I feel like that's the best way to be. I really do.
Yeah, at least you've experienced everything, good and bad. And if you own it,
yeah,
you learn from it.
Exactly. And I feel like, you know what it is, that obviously I'm younger, Dan. So I come from like maybe a different generation.
You're my Jodie's generation.
Yeah. So
yeah,
my mum's,
my
mum's generation, she knows you from EastEnders and stuff like that. I also remember you from Big Brother. David's dead, who can forget it?
I know, yeah. And me and arguing with Steph all the time.
Yeah. So I remember you from that. But I think what I'm so grateful is that I met you on my own merit. I just met you on our own.
Yeah,
and we
met you.
got to know each other. And the perception I think the public has to the perception I have is completely different, and that's why I wanted to invite you on.
Thank you, I like that.
Obviously, we can delve more into your life now, but I wanted to go all the way back. I wanted to go to the start, from the beginning of your life.
Yep.
So obviously, you started on EastEnders when you were 16.
Yep, just 2 weeks before I left school.
That's crazy. So could you tell me a bit more about your early life, just how it started, and just, yeah.
I lived in Woodford. I come from Walthamstow originally, and my mum, we moved out to Woodford Green. They used to have a little boutique, my mum, my auntie.
Yeah.
My dad was a carpet fitter, and my mum had a little boutique. She used to be a Playboy bunny when I was really young. She's always worked really hard, but both my parents did. I think just because you always want better for your kids. Like I wanted better for my kids, even though I had a great upbringing. So I grew up in Woodford, yeah. Brought by Bromley Road, went to Ray Lodge.
Yeah.
Then we moved to the other side of the line.
Yeah.
There's a better postcode than the Monkham's. And there was a little girl down my road in Danbury Way, and she was in a Boy George video, and I was at local school. I went to my mum, I want to do that. My mum was like, what do you mean you want to do? You want to do that? I was like, I want to be an actor.
Really?
And a show jumper, but I wanted to be an actor. My dad wouldn't buy me a horse, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to go with the acting side, because I'm not going to get a horse out of my dad.
Yeah.
Every mum's like it with their daughter.
Yeah.
Their daughter's their little doll. You'll dress them up as your best mate. Mm-hmm. You know, so my mum, she sort of made it happen for me. She just sort of put me into modelling with Elizabeth Smith, and I did my first ever job with Jeannie Savage,
who
was the one that found Katie Price. And
that's crazy, yeah.
So I did an Asda campaign with her for my first ever one, and I used to do all the mother care brochures and all the grants catalogues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we found out about Sylvia Young, so I used to go. She used to take me every Saturday up there. Mm-hmm. I did Saturday school meet. Denise went out, and like loads of us all at the school.
That's crazy.
And then in the September we all went full time. It was all in the same year.
Yeah.
There was 18 of us in the whole year.
Yeah.
Such a small school, and it was just fantastic. I went to do all the modelling, and then we found out about Sylvia Young's.
Yeah.
And you've got to think, this is like early 80s, so we didn't have internet, we didn't have mobile phones, we just had newspapers.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't have access to everything like we did today. And it wasn't normal to go to a theatre school. You might go to your local dance school, majorettes or brownies or clubs in your local area, but you didn't go to the WESTEnders stage school. And my dad was like, I think it's all ridiculous.
Really?
Oh, it's all ridiculous. Filling her head with dreams. She might do,
when you was younger, like, obviously it's so weird. Like, everyone speaks now about manifestation and, visualising their dreams.
I did that.
But do you think you subconsciously done that?
I know I did. It's the craziest thing because I remember the first episode of EastEnders coming on. Before that, there used to be a programme called Mini Pops, which was Top of the Pops, but done by kids.
Okay.
So all the latest bands and that, like the Bangles and that was out back then, they'd do it in kids' versions, make the pop videos of it every week to be on. And I said, I want to do that. And I got the job.
No way.
And then the first episode of EastEnders started. I remember Leslie Grantham was in it. And so when I went to my mum, I'm going to be in that. And I got on there when I was 13 as an extra in the background.
Oh, no way.
And then I landed the part of Sam. But
do you remember what scene you was in the background?
Background of Dirty Den was putting Angie in a cab.
No way.
I was roller skating across the square in my roller boots.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And that was great. I loved it. And then I thought, I'm going to be... I sat in that square and I thought, I want to do this. This is where I want to be. 4 years later, there I was. And it's like, they cast... 1,500 girls for the part of Sam Mitchell. It was in 1989.
Yeah. But what I always feel like, when you talk about your childhood, and I know you had a lovely one, but when you speak about being on TV and stuff like that, and you always sort of go from, I done this music video and then I went on EastEnders, but when you look a bit more into your life, you sort of gloss over the fact of there was a lot of abuse going on in the industry.
This is what I was going to come to. And I would like to be able to share it with you because you're my friend as well, and I can talk freely, obviously, given the platform that you've got.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll lead on to why I've done the management company exactly because of this, because and why I didn't put my children into the industry.
Really? Is that why you
children?
didn't?
Yeah. I went to Sylvia Young. So Sylvia, God bless her, she just passed recently. She was great, but back then we used to have chaperones, so your parents didn't take you on jobs. You'd drop you off, and a chaperone would take you, and it was all licensed through.
Yeah, I had that when I was younger.
Did you have that? So do you remember all that?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that because otherwise my mum would have just been with me.
Yeah.
All the time, because your mum used to take you to jobs and modelling bits and pieces. Anyway, the chaperones used to sit where they were meant to sit in that room, and all sorts used to go on. And we was getting heavy. A lot. I can't say we, but I know I can speak on my behalf. I'd done a lot of West End theatre, a lot of tours, mostly in theatre and stuff like that. Heavily abused.
Really? And what age was that from?
From like 11. And then it went to being used to do shows and parties and things like that. And again, you'd be chaperoned and again, you're getting abused. And that's when I first ever got given coke.
Oh, really?
Because they give you, that was the first people say, the first thing, if you've got an addictive personality, the first thing you pick up, whether it be porn, gambling, smoking, drinking, drugs, is what is your poison, I suppose. And they gave it to you because a lot of people, and I'm sure people out there that have had an addiction problem or ever taken coke or whatever, know, depending on what it's cut with, if it's cut with a sort of a rat poison type thing, it makes you hold your breath and you can't breathe, and you get all paranoid. And when you do that, you shut up.
Wow.
So that's why they gave you coke, so you were stiff, you couldn't move.
Did you ever reach out to like a family member? Or
no, because I couldn't do that.
Why?
Because I come from an era that we didn't have social media, we didn't have access to the internet. You just did what you were told.
Yeah.
You taught to trust the police, when you taught to do this, trust your adults. Yes, you were still naughty and did things, but I've never seen my mum. I've never seen my dad naked or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? We're not sort of like family that walk around like in the nods and I'm a 70s baby.
Yeah.
So imagine going to my dad and going, Dad, this man's doing something.
And also, I think what's conflicting as well is it's what you wanted. You wanted to be part of the industry.
My mum would have been absolutely mortified because I could have told my mum.
But do you think you was worried as well? If you tell them what's going on in the industry, they'll pull you out of it. And it's what you want.
You work. And then people, they said they'll call you a liar. And I'm just writing my third book, and I'm not naming names of people that have abused me because I've done my bit, I've done my evidence, I've done my stuff for it, and I think a lot of people have passed away now that because obviously being older than me, I'm 50, they would have been in their 80s now. And people say to me, oh, you're a proclaimer of, you're looking after paedophiles because you're not naming them. I'm like, hang on, my whole life from 15 years of age, whether rightly or wrongly, has been public.
Yeah.
There's some things that I have to keep for my own mental health out of, because for all the good it does, there's people out there going to troll the death out of me.
Yeah, of course.
Which they do. And that sometimes, no matter how strong you are and how much you can hit a block button, sometimes on the wrong day, that can make you really, really sad.
Yeah, of course.
So for me, I did it privately. I did my interviews, I did my evidence, I did my stuff like that, all given on tape. And I walked away because also my kids used to have to go to school. Bad enough having a mum that was an ex-drug addict and a nose and this, and they got trolled by people at school and bullied. That's not their fault. I'm their mum, it's not them.
Yeah.
Imagine them going to school and your mum's been abused and they're saying who it was. This, and imagine them person's children and grandchildren having to take that abuse. They're not paedophiles.
No.
So I just think some things you need to keep private. But I will stand up and speak. But there's a few people in my class that was heavily abused by Gary Glitter and things like that as well, and haven't spoken up. And I just think...
Why do you think they haven't?
Because when you're in this industry, if you do the right thing, you work more.
Yeah. And you know, obviously, I read online that you testified against Jimmy Savile, is that right?
I did, yeah, I did.
So, obviously, it all came out about Jimmy Savile after he passed.
Yeah.
So, for years, no one spoke about what happened. And how did that feel for you, knowing that that man was still working, still seen as a national treasure?
They put me on a TV show with him in Ireland, just as a guest, and I obviously didn't know who the other guests were.
Yeah.
And I was an adult then. I was married. I had 2 kids. And you see me on that documentary, then you can literally read my lips. On it, and as I walk in, he goes, "Oh, come and sit with me," and I just look at him and I go, "I would rather die than sit near you."
Really?
Yeah, I would rather die than sit near you. You vile man.
And how old was you when that happened?
12.
Oh, really?
I was a girl, so it wasn't really as bad. It was bad for the boys.
Really?
Very bad for the boys. And literally, I remember being side of stage for some things, and then I turned into being that person where older kids from school would stand in front of us. So
Really?
they'd abuse them and not us, and then I became that child that stood in front of a younger
That's
child.
so sad.
You know, and that's just how it was. And there's a lot of people I went to school with, and a lot of people that I've worked with, very talented people that aren't here anymore.
And is that because you think it...
Because you can't live with stuff like that. And
Do you know anyone that left the industry because they physically couldn't handle it, walked away from the industry?
A lot of people have. A lot
Really?
of people have. And a lot of people have walked away from the industry because of what they've seen, and not even if they've not been part of.
Really?
Because they just can't live with... It's just too graphic, too many things they've seen it, and there was no justice.
And who
but
do you
this
think...
doesn't go on anymore
Really?
that I know of.
Yeah.
It just can't go on anymore. There's no way it could go
Well,
on. I mean, if
social
Sylvia
media-
Young had known what was going on, then she would have been absolutely...
Well, it's not her.
devastated. It's not
was
her.
just-
She wouldn't know.
No.
We were just following the rules of, we had to have had chaperones, and the chaperones didn't even know because they'd be in the room. They'd
Yeah.
take us up to theatre, take us to... That all goes on. They're very, very clever. And the last book I've written, 2 autobiographies. I seem to do one every 10 years, but my life's never finished, so I'm always picking up.
No, never.
So I'm writing my first one, and my first opening line of it is, "Can you keep a secret? Do you promise you won't tell?" And that was what I was always told. Can you keep a secret? Promise you won't tell. If you don't tell this secret, you'll always be working. You'll always be good. You did. And I just was like, okay. I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
Can't tell anyone else because it's special.
Yeah.
Can't tell anyone because you're special. And I was like, okay. And now I know that's just like so wrong.
Yeah, it's so wrong. Yeah.
Can you keep a secret? Yeah, you can keep a secret that your friend's fucking talking to another guy on the phone or whatever. That's
Yeah,
one
of
secret.
course.
But keeping a secret about somebody touching you, that's not a secret.
No.
That's illegal and it's wrong. And if anyone ever tells you to do that, you need to tell someone and walk straight
And
away.
do you think that even though social media, some people love social media, some people hate it. I'm sure sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate
Of course.
it. But do you feel like social media has stopped that being able to happen?
Yes, I do. But I also think it has enabled people that lie about other people and are very venomous and gaslight about other people, to lie about other people and ruin people's careers as well that haven't done things wrong
With a platform?
with a platform.
Yeah.
Because people come out of nowhere and they suddenly get, I'm not saying that everybody's innocent at all, but like there's a lot of people that do go out and go after people. Mm-hmm. I think social media, you either love it or you hate it, or it's good for some things, not good for others. But there was times when, like, as usual, addictive personality, I'd be on it all the time.
On the Record with Chloe B has been exclusively sponsored by Ryan from Change. For the last few months, I've been working with Ryan from Change, and I'm so grateful that they've decided to sponsor On the Record with Chloe B so that I can bring you these amazing episodes. Change is the #1 mentoring program that teaches you e-commerce without any previous experience. Since working with Change, I've seen so many amazing differences. I've seen life-changing money be made, and I've also seen so many members free up time so they can spend time with their family and loved ones. Don't get me wrong, you really do have to put the work in with Change, and Ryan is one of the most hard-working people I know. But what you put in, you get out, and you can really see some life-changing results. And you're also surrounded by a group of like-minded people that have the same ambition and goals. Change is different to other businesses because they offer one-on-one training, group seminars, and online courses so you you can constantly get the help you need to succeed with your business. If you're looking for an opportunity to get involved with change, then make sure you reach out to Ryan via Instagram at RyanJB to get involved with this amazing business. Obviously, your childhood, it's been tumultuous because of
that, but my actual childhood home life was great.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So was there ever a chance, like a time where you thought to yourself, I don't want to be in this industry? Did you ever think, you know what, this is not for me? Really? Even though what was going on?
I loved doing it. I loved acting. I love acting. I love watching other people work. For me, like going to EastEnders, I could sit for it. I've learned so much from working with Barbara Windsor, Steve McFadden, June Brown, Dot Cotton. I would sit on set waiting for, if I was ready and made up, ready to go, I'd sit and watch the scenes they were doing before me if it was someone like June working, or because I would look to see how she does things and she'd just get into character and do. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a very visual person with learning, and I just love it. I love going to the theatre. I love the industry. I love it.
So you go on EastEnders, you're 16 years of age.
Loved it.
So
I was only meant to be there for 12 weeks and I ended up staying for 6 years.
Really? So tell me about that. I want to know all about it.
Oh, it was great. I did 4 auditions over 3 months, and the last audition there was me and one other girl, and I remember them. Finished my history exam, put my pencil down, put my hand up, and I'm like, yeah, go.
Yeah.
Got the train up to Elstree from Alabama from Sylvia's, and it's at the old BBC in Elstree it was then, and it's sitting in reception, me and this other girl. I'd seen her at one of the other castings. Now, I remember there was 1,500 girls originally for Sam Mitchell. And back then, EastEnders used to be on a Monday, Wednesday, and I think Monday, Wednesday and Friday or something like that. It was on Sunday, the omnibus, or on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
So we only had 4, Channel 4 had only just launched. We didn't have any Sky.
Yeah.
We didn't have any other channels. We had 3 channels and Channel 4 was brand new.
Yeah.
4 channels to choose from. So EastEnders was hitting like 30, 35 million each episode viewers. It was huge. I was 16 when I went there. Sid's a year above me because he was driving, he's 17. And it was for the new Mitchell. The boys had already been in for a year, Phil and Grant. They had hair and everything then.
That's how long ago it was.
They had the garage, It's 33 years ago. So, I think 32 or 33 years ago. So they were looking for their little sister. So in I came. And the last audition, I remember sitting in the reception with the other girl, and the mum went to me, "You're going to get this job."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I don't know, but you're going to get this job. Good luck to you." I thought that was so lovely.
That's amazing, yeah.
And Sid had really long hair then, who plays Ricky. And I remember he put his head over the top of the banister. And there was a little cafe on the first floor, like a little snack bar. And he had a sausage roll hanging out of his mouth. And he went, "Which one of you's going up to Sam Mitchell?" She went, "I am." I went, "And I am." And he went, "You'll do." I was like, "You cheeky sod, you'll do." And then I went in, I read from again on camera, and I had a big round face. I think I just fitted. I looked at the pictures of Phil and Grant there, and my picture in the middle, and the picture of Phil and Grant, the other girl in the middle. Then we both read from. And literally that night, I got home about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 7 o'clock, the phone rang. And I remember my mum going, "Danny Sylvie's on the phone," because we used to have a phone downstairs and a phone upstairs in my dad's room. So I go in my room, and we lived in Baldwin's Hill in Loughton. It's right next to the pub, and it looks out right over the forest.
Yeah.
And I remember standing on the phone. I went, "Hi, Sylv." She went, "You want to sit down?" I said, "What?" She went, "You got the job. You start tomorrow." I still get choked talking about it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was like, "What?" She went, "They're biking your scripts now.
Yeah.
You need to take in a pair of denim hot pants. They've got your tops and a pair of trainers." She went, "You start tomorrow, kid. Well done."
That's amazing.
I just remember I could cry just thinking about it. It's the best day of my life. I actually loved it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next morning I got up and I got a cab there because I thought I was right big. Getting a cab to Elstree.
Yeah.
If I was Saddlers in Loughton. Got my cab there and pulled in the gates, and they were like, "You from EastEnders, Daniella?" Yeah, they give me my pass and that. Got my dressing room and my plaque on the door.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Albert Square plaque. It says Daniella Westbrook on it. I've still got all that stuff. And my first scene was with Sid on the lot outside. We used to film the outside stuff on a Friday.
Nervous?
I was absolutely shitting myself.
Was it? Yeah.
And the same crew, it's all still the same crew now, Dave and everyone on cameras, and they made me feel so welcome. And I just, every time I walk in that square, every time I've gone back, I just feel like I'm at home.
If you could give one bit of advice to that girl turning up in that cab that day now, what would it be?
To never have taken drugs.
Really?
Never have kept up the drug thing when you felt insecure.
When you started, did you have a drug problem?
Well, I was already being given drugs for years, been heavily abused for years. And I think with the pressure at EastEnders, remember there's only 4 channels. Mm-hmm. Sid and I grew up in front of the nation.
Yeah, I know. I think the
48 million people watched us run away to Gretna Green and get married.
Yeah.
That's a lot when you're 16.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and I remember Ross and Stevie coming in my dressing room. I'd been there 2 weeks and we filmed 6 to 9 weeks in front. And they knocked on the door, the two brothers, and I was like, hello, come in the room. And sat down, I want to talk to you. I thought, okay. They went, listen, your first episode goes out tomorrow. Friday morning, your life's changing. It's never going to be the same again. I was like, yeah, all right. I thought I knew it. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I've worked before, you know.
Yeah.
But they meant it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't old enough or mature enough.
To comprehend.
To actually comprehend what they were saying to me. And it was like, no, your life's going to change. You won't be getting on tubes and all that anymore. You won't be doing this, you won't be doing that. Like, listen, you're like four channels on the telly. BBC One flagship show. You're a massive character. They're making a massive deal out of this. Like, I was the first person for the whole cast to ever do Hello Magazine. They launched me in Hello Magazine to come into the show.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. I used to do Radio 1, all the shows. Me and Sid used to do all that.
And when you was walking down the street, would you get stopped constantly?
Everywhere.
Really?
Everywhere I went. Everywhere.
And do you think...
Because there was only 4 channels, so everybody knew us.
Do you think you prepared for that at all or not really?
Nothing could prepare you for that.
If you knew how famous you was going to be, would you have done it?
Oh, God, yeah.
You wanted to
I wanted to act. I just wanted to act. And I love
that's
Sam.
why I always, like,
I love Sam Mitchell. I love her.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, obviously, for me, I feel like, you know, I loved doing the show that I done and I loved the fame that come with it. I love having a picture with people. Fun. But you done it because you love the acting.
I wasn't being me. I was being... So they gave me this character.
You loved the character.
They gave me this character and I made her... I grew with her and I made her into what I wanted her to be. And it's like... And you know, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like, even though they put Kim back in without telling me again, I'm happy Kim's gone to go and do her bit with it. But that's my character. You made and her. I want to finish her.
Yeah.
I would like to go back when my face is fixed. I'd like to go back one day. People say, would you go back? And I always say, and I don't think I would now about Barbara. But deep in my heart, I would. Because really? I would want it to, I just want to be, for me, it's a final. But I don't think they would put me back there anyway. But
do you not think?
No, I just don't think they would.
Why?
Because there's one person that works there that really can't stand me.
Oh, I can relate.
Manager. Yeah, can you relate to that?
Oh, I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, my card's stamped. I can't do Strictly and I can't do that. It's
really?
Yeah, job for the boys one. But
yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, I feel very lucky that I got to do that. And some of the people that I worked with on EastEnders over the years, the best education I've ever had was working there.
Really?
Because I worked with amazing directors. And
how did it end with EastEnders? So obviously not. I know you obviously returned. Like
I've returned
you returned a few times. So how did it end in your first stint on EastEnders? Obviously, you know, a lot of people.
I went off to do. I got a deal. They used to call it a golden handshake deal with ITV.
Okay.
So I got a deal with ITV to go and work with Timothy Spall. Okay. Doing Frank Dub Promotes and Leslie Sharp. And I went and done 3 years at ITV.
What was you doing there?
Frank Dub Promotes. I did 2 different shows for them, 2 dramas.
Yeah.
For them, running consecutively over 3 years. And another one, Timothy Spall's a massive actor.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Harry Potter and everything. Leslie Sharp's massive. She's got lovely, great dramas and that out. I've worked with some fantastic people. But I always held myself back because of my addiction. Every time I've relapsed, my addiction's held me back. And it's like, it's just robs you of everything.
And obviously, a lot of people know about that photo. The photo that they took where they
the midget guy got the picture of my nose. He bought a plane, you know, out of the proceeds of that picture. He's earned that much money.
He bought a plane?
He bought a plane and retired.
Oh, really?
But, do you know what?
And what time period was this? Was you still on EastEnders at this point?
That was at EastEnders, yeah. They shot me for this is later though. I was just before I had Jodie B, so I was with Kevin in year 2000, that was.
Okay.
That was at the TV National Television Awards.
So what happens when that picture comes out? You wake up the next day?
I woke up in Priory. They put me straight in the Priory that night.
Why?
Because they knew I'd wake up and I'd kill myself because I was, that just went everywhere. They literally got in the Priory.
Did you know that picture had been taken? You knew they'd got it?
I knew they'd got the picture. They phoned my agent anyway and said, listen, we've got this picture. And at the time I was with Michael Barrymore's ex-wife Cheryl, was my manager. And she was great. She passed away now, but she was a great manager. And she was very media savvy as well. And she went, gone now, Priory.
Really?
Got me in the Priory. I wasn't allowed to see any TV, watch TV or do anything. So I didn't see anything. It was all over the papers the next day. It was all over GMTV. It was everywhere. Obviously, naturally, it was going to be. And the picture saved my life.
Really?
If they hadn't printed that picture, I'd be dead because I wouldn't have carried on.
And is that so? Before then, obviously, that picture come out. Everyone knew about your addiction problems. Before then, was it known about your addiction problems? Did people?
Yeah, God, yeah, it was known. It was well done. I've been. The papers have done me over loads of times.
What was the first time? What was your first memory of them going? She's got an addiction problem, and you thought, oh fuck, this is going to come out.
I got caught picking up gear from someone.
Really?
Papped. And back then, you've got to remember, you used to have to wait. Sunday, it was the news of the world came out. We didn't have online.
So you're waiting
there was
a
nothing.
week.
You're waiting a week. You don't know. So Saturday night, they'd call you by 6 o'clock, as they do with the right to reply. It's got to be they've got to call you by 6. Because you have a right to reply with, and you've got an hour before they go to print. Now it's online, so it's whatever. But it used to be like, if we go to print by 8:30, 9 o'clock, ready for the next morning. And I remember being in Café de Paris with Sid.
How old was you?
18, I think.
Okay, so you've been on
17,
EastEnders
18,
about
yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, 17, 18. I was driving. I remember being in Café de Paris with Sid, or been to Brown's, we ended up in Café de Paris. And the lovely, lovely doorman that used to be there, Iranian guy, I used to get so drunk and that in there. He used to pick me up and put a coat over my head and put me in the car, because they'd just literally go through the window, like loads of them.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore, because everybody pays the paps, everyone works with the paps now. Whereas before they used to doorstep you and stuff. And there used to be a newspaper stand outside that corner at Café de Paris by Leicester Square. And as we come out, before we come out, he went, "You're front page of every paper." He said, "You've been done." And Sid was like, I went to Sid, get in a separate cab. He went, "No, you're my friend. I'll stand next to you.
Yeah.
I'll support you. Do you know what I mean? You're my friend." And bless him. And they put us in the cab, and he literally threw the papers. He put us in, our coats over our heads, put over my head. Sid put me in the car. They got me in the car with him, and he literally threw the papers on the floor of the black taxi. The newspaper guy was lovely outside there, and he threw them in. And literally, we got away from the paps round the corner. But Sid went, "Fuck."
Really?
Like what he went down you're fucked.
Really?
He
And
went,
how
"They've
did
got
he...
everything on you." And basically, somebody that I used to buy gear off for told a story on me.
Really?
I gave them everything they wanted.
So that was the first experience of someone basically outing you to the press about your addiction?
Yeah.
And then how did EastEnders deal with that?
I got suspended. They didn't really have anything in place back then, because we didn't have, it's like very standard, very BBC. They haven't come across anybody probably like me. Well, they used to paedophiles like Jimmy Savile, but they didn't know that he was a paedophile, did they? So, I was a bit of a loose cannon for him, I think.
Really?
Sid and I were loose cannons, because we were both, reckless. She got done for drink driving, I got done for that.
Yeah.
It was like crazy, and then it just went from there. And I think we were so big so fast. And Patsy will tell you the same, because she came in after me, and then we worked together, and she's been through all the same sort of stuff. And I think you're just inside, you're still just 17-year-old.
You're a kid at the end of the day. When
I
I look
don't
at
know
some of the
nothing.
things
I didn't
I've
know anything.
done, like I look back at my first scenes and I sound like a child. I
voice,
look so little, and it's like the things I've done. Yeah, it was never drug related, but it was always fiery, always aggressive, always starting arguments.
You're a teenager.
You're a kid.
Yes.
You're a kid in front of a camera, and I think that people don't necessarily understand that and still come down as hard on that
100%.
child as they would an adult. And I don't.
If not
think,
harder at times.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty, because you're young, because you think you're setting an example to people, you should know better. Looking at it now at 50, yes, I should have known better, but I had no guidance.
Why do you think you had them problems with drugs? Where do you think that stemmed from?
It started from being abused.
Yeah.
As I said, they used to give you the coke to keep you quiet. And I used that to fill a gap. Whenever I felt less than, or I just felt I was up against it, I felt less than, my confidence was low. I wasn't, just because you work on the telly, don't mean to say you're always like,
No.
like that. Sometimes you're walking somewhere, I can't do public speaking.
Yeah.
If I go to an audition, they go, "Read that." I'll go, "Can you take 2 people in before me and then come back to me?" I have to sight read, I can sight read, learn fast like that. If I have to read a bit of paper, I go,
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, I get tongue-tied. It reminds me of being at school, having to stand up and read out loud. I hate anything like that. So naturally, people think because you're an actor, you just freeze them things. So whenever I sort of got to periods of my life where I started to feel I was under a hell of a lot of pressure, we grew up in front of the nation. We were doing PAs every single weekend. I was working. Suddenly, I'm out with George Michael and people like that 2 or 3 nights a week. My best mate's working in Selfridges on the weekend, and he's at college all week, and I'll be ringing and going, "Guess what, I'm at with George Michael, come." I can't afford to.
Yeah.
So I was so alienated from where my friends were, but I'm still my mates.
Yeah.
Ginny's still my best mate today. I love her so much. And she's totally different from me. She's never done really drugs and things. So she likes like a glass of champagne, but that's about as good as she gets.
Yeah.
She's a normal girl, just my best mate from my first ever day at primary school. And I broke her heart many times watching me, and it was like, she said, "As much as I was proud of you, I wish you hadn't have had that, because it stole you."
Yeah.
And I
Where do you
just suddenly, I
think
was around adults all the time, and I wasn't around my mates so much anymore. Because they all had normal lives, and I was working. If I wasn't doing that, I was at the Variety Club Awards, I was here, I was there at least 3 or 4 nights a week. I was at events, as well as working 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And doing press and PR. And so you're working all the time, which is great because you're earning really big money. Like, I bought my first house at auction. My parents had to stand guarantor for me. I was 17. Not really meant to get a mortgage in that till you're like 21 or whatever.
Yeah.
Barclays couldn't wait to throw a mortgage at me.
Yeah.
I bought my first property outright by the age of... I'd paid for that property within 2 years.
That's crazy.
Because I was working so hard, I wasn't spending any money.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So you was constantly at
yeah.
work.
But, you know, it is what it is. But it's... I love property and that as well, so I used to always be wanting to buy properties and do things.
Really? This podcast is exclusively sponsored by Ryan at Change. Change is an amazing organisation that help people literally change their life. They teach you how to scale and grow your e-commerce business, and even me personally, he has completely changed my life with helping me grow my new business that I'm launching. I cannot recommend Ryan enough, and if you are interested, then make sure you reach out to Ryan on Instagram at RyanJB. Where do you think you'd be now if you hadn't touched drugs? Do you think you'd still be on EastEnders?
I think I'd have done a lot more than EastEnders.
Really?
I think I'd have gone on and done... I'm not saying that I'm great at anything, but I've got a huge ambition and drive when it comes to acting and doing different parts and different roles. And there used to be a thing called pilot season in California, so in LA. You'd go over in February, November, you'd show me show reels, and they'd call you in for different stuff and you'd test for stuff. Anyway, Sid was out there doing a pilot season. He said... Out of the 14 people I saw, callbacks, 7 of them went, "Who's that girl? Get her out here."
No way. That's crazy.
He said, because on his showreel was like all of us.
Why did you not?
Because I was on drugs.
Really?
I didn't care. I thought I was just in my big bubble here.
You just didn't care.
And it's just, it strips you of everything. And I've had a great career and I'm still busy and doing stuff. And obviously now I've opened my management company and stuff like that. And that is primarily because I've always wanted to have my own agency. I've always wanted to look after people properly. And I've looked at what was missing for me when I was growing up in this world. And I've got, like now, I've got a management company to manage celebrities. I do a lot of fighters and that as well. Myself, my sister-in-law. And I've got an on-board accountant that just deals with the entertainment industry. No one told me about tax.
No.
No one told me to do this. No one told me to VAT. No one told me... I just go, yeah, BMW, but I shall have that. Have that. And then, like, obviously, I had my tax money and that's set aside. But when I got really bad with the drugs... suddenly I was like, screw that tax account off, bring that over there, throw my money over it. And everything just went out the window because it took over my life.
You spent the majority of your money on drugs?
I spent nearly all of my money on drugs.
Really, Dan?
Yeah, so much of it over the years.
And
so much of it. And properties and lots of stuff like that, but so much.
Really? And do you think there's been a period of your life where you can remember where you've been continuously sober for a long period of time?
Yeah, I was 14 years clean and sober.
Really? What made you relapse?
I split up with my husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he took my daughter to live with him. Choice of 2 kids. Obviously, my son isn't his. He took my daughter and moved away with her. So literally within 6 weeks, our whole family unit fell apart and he started drinking again. I started drinking and using again. And my daughter had gone from being, day one being born, for the first 14 years of her life, having 2 sober parents and a happy family.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, she separated from her brother, changed house, school, county, you know, and not with her mum. And her mum's relapsed. Her mum's a cokehead, you know. And she'd never known a mum like that.
No.
My face was fixed, I was clean, I was sober, I was 14 years clean. And that's what really frightens me, is like, it took me 7, and I used to be sit on the board for Cocaine Anonymous. I helped set up one of the meetings at High Street years ago, Wednesday lunchtime meeting. So active with it. And it took me 7 years into a 14-year recovery to turn around and say, I will never touch cocaine again, I will never. I was so scared to go backwards. And within 2 weeks of splitting up with my husband, I had it. And
do you remember that time when you bought it after the 14 years?
Yeah.
And think,
I threw my whole clean time away. And more than that, I threw myself with it.
Really?
And it's so hard because your ego, and I know so much recovery. Obviously, being 14 years clean and being so active in recovery and in sponsorship, I knew everything about the recovery system. So the minute I took that, I was like, get to a meeting, you've relapsed.
Really?
My ego went to me, don't get to a meeting, you're 14 years clean, you're sitting on the board. I said,
they're going to
don't get to that, you'll look like you look sort of white Wally. Carry on using. Before you know it, 2 years has passed.
Really? 5
years has passed, and you're like... And it just becomes an excuse, but the devil will talk to you in different ways. You just got to, you know, for me, if it's not... If I don't keep my mental health in check, addiction's going to follow.
Yeah.
So, and that will find, and addiction is cunning and baffling. It is, especially cocaine addiction. It will find, you think you've got every box ticked, that you know which way it's going to trigger you. And suddenly it will come in another way.
I never knew much about addiction until more so in most recent years, and I think that I always looked at addicts like they was really selfish. But also I think, they are, but they're not. I think that it's quite hard. I think that often you never know what's going on in an addict's brain and what triggers them.
If you want to stop.
But you could say that for yourself, but you didn't.
I didn't stop because I didn't want to, did I? I didn't want to. I liked being surrounded by misery, and also, without being rude, misery loves a friend. And while I'm surrounded by people that in some way I felt better than.
Really, yeah.
Because I had more money than I had a nice house than them, and I was being surrounded by them, I still felt like I was doing all right.
Mm.
But the truth is, once an addict's an addict, doesn't matter where you live or where you come from, addiction's addiction.
Yeah.
And it gets you all, but it's like, my ego kept me out of the meetings. And I know today, if I don't get up in the morning and put God and my programme first, before my kids, before myself, before anything, if I don't put that programme first, I'm dead.
Really?
Next relapse I have, I'll die.
Has there ever been a time where you thought you was going to die?
There's been a time I wanted to die lots of times, but it's not been for me.
Really?
No, not a time I thought I was going to die. There was one time I thought I was done. I was really, really done, and I kept having cocaine convulsions. So it's not going to your brain, you collapsing, fitting, and I was so frightened. And I remember ringing social services and asking them to take kind care.
Yeah.
And when I told them who I was, they went, "No, sorry, we can't help you because you're public. And if anything happens to your child," it was the same. I was living in South London then, and it was the same borough council as Baby P, and it was about 6 months after that, and. If anything happens to your child in our care, then we're liable. I said, but you're child protection services. It's not about me. I'm asking you to take my child and protect him.
I need help.
Yeah. You're there for him, not if anything happens to me. You're there to look after him. I need someone to take my child. I'm going to die. Mm. And they wouldn't do it. So Kai's dad had him for me, which is great. I love Robert. He's great. Yeah. And his family, just such lovely people. And they just had Kai for me. And he was there for about 18 months.
Really?
He's always been very active in Kai's life. He's a great dad.
My mum said to ask about it. She said, "You know what, Chloe? I remember years and years ago, she was in a really bad car accident." She said, and I've not seen her speak about it in recent years. And my mum was like,
I've never spoken about it.
My mum said she still remembers it, and she said, "You know,
the castle in Woodford it was."
Yeah, and she just said, it's funny. She just said, I just remember looking at her and thinking, I hope she turns out okay.
I flatlined in the ambulance. I was in a coma. Kai's dad was driving the car actually. And it was, as you come up, you'll know, people won't know this unless you live in Woodford. As you come up to the castle from like Walthamstow way, come up towards the castle, you've got the lights before the castle. And if you're coming up from Broadmead, you can go right down to like to Chingford. Mm-hmm. But it's a filter light. So we're coming along straight. I remember I was on the phone to my dad, Rob was driving, and I had the seatbelt on, but I had it on under my arm. Kai was in the car seat in the back, he was only 12 months old or 9 months old. And I had been sponsored by Rover, and I'd only had the car for about a month.
Okay, great.
Great. Yeah. And,
what a great advert.
Great advert, and it was a complete right at the flat. And literally, we're coming up like that, and I was on the phone to my dad, and I sat like that. I always sit like this, cross-legged. With the seatbelt under me, I'm talking to him like that, and Rob's driving. Oh, thank God, seatbelt's on. Baby was safe. And as we come up to lights, our light was green, their light was red. This kid had not long passed his test. He had 5 kids in a Vauxhall Nova. And he's jumped the light and just took the front clean off my car. And the whole car was in flames and everything. And the impact was that fast. One of the kids in the back of his car, the door came open, it threw him across the road.
Oh, my God.
And I was screaming. Robert got out to drag the guy out of the car. Out of shock.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, we had no front on the car at all. And I used to be obsessed with watching Casualty and all them, like The Bill and Casualty. And I remember they say that the car's going to go on fire. The car was catching on fire. And I couldn't get Kai out. I just put him in this really nice car seat from BMW, like big teddy bear it was, like a big car seat. And I remember screaming for about, I can't get the baby out of the car. The baby's covered in blood. I can't get the baby out of the car. The car's on fire. And he just pushed me out of the way. And he said, the baby's not covered in blood, then it's your blood. And I'd gone through the windscreen, when I don't think I was like that, through the windscreen and back and hit the dash.
Oh, my God.
So I had a hole in the windscreen, my head had gone through and back, and it ripped, all of this part of my face was gone. And my eye socket was completely gone, and my eye was out on my cheek.
Oh, my God.
It was out on my cheek. And I remember I had Moschino PVC trousers on, long boots. Yeah. La Perla all in one underneath, and a big Moschino jumper on. And the fireman come down from Woodford. And he was so handsome. They put me in the middle of that barrier, but it's very cheap. But they put me in the middle of the bit. You know when you got to walk across the road, you got to stop halfway. They got the little metal bits. He propped me up against them and went, "Can you see me?" I went, "Yeah, you're gorgeous." That was the last thing I remember. They got me in the ambulance, and they were like, putting the things on me. She's going to flatline. And I remember just saying, please don't cut my underwear off. I can't afford to buy another one. It was lapel over the other. And that was the last thing I remember. I flatlined in the ambulance. Robert said they put the paddles on you and you were gone. You're dead.
Oh my God.
And I woke up 3 days later and back then you used to have hot and cold. You used to have to push the thing up like that, up and down. It's not a little touch button. And they'd picked like 800 bits of glass of red and out of my face. And I woke up and my mum was in Whipps Cross. My mum, my Auntie Jean, and I said to my mum, what's happened? Like, what's happened with my face? Am I all right? Because they thought I was going to lose my eye and stuff. It's like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? I said, the baby's fine. Baby's Robert, it's fine. I said, am I all right? And my mum said, yeah, you're lovely. You're like my Auntie Jean, but don't lie to her. So show her what she looks like.
Yeah.
She said, this is a consequence of her actions. Again, you've got to stop lying to her. Anyway,
What was your actions though?
because I'd be out all weekend and do you know what I mean? I was very blasé with stuff. So
Yeah.
this is a wake-up call. You're lucky to be alive here.
Yeah.
You died, Dan. You died. Your kid's in the car. Not that Robert was on drugs or doing it. He was
No.
just coming home from his mum's on a Sunday lunch. But
Yeah.
she said a consequence, again, of your actions,
You need
of
to-
not being in control of your own self. Everything's so blasé. You just float along through life thinking,
Yeah.
you know, it's bouncing along. She said, you've got to be consistent and structured. You need to grow up the fuck up. Stop thinking you're invincible. You died. You have a child. All right, it wasn't your fault, but I got arrested for it. They arrested me in my bed at the hospital
Why?
because they thought I was driving the car, but they could see from the thing that I wasn't, my injuries that I wasn't. Robert said he was driving, but they didn't believe him.
Really?
Anyway, whatever, that's another story.
Yeah.
But that afternoon, the first afternoon I woke up, a guy come in the room in the white coat and all that and started asking questions. My Aunt Jean's come back. My mum's so naive, love her. She was like, yeah, talking to the doctor. My Aunt Jean's come back. She went, who are you? He went, oh, I'm a specialist. She went, no, you're not. You're not dealing with her. And it was a report from the News of the World.
Oh
Got all
my
pictures of me in the hospital bed and everything.
God, are you joking?
They had the same thing in the Priory. They checked in as when I went in the Priory with the nose thing, I was sitting in a group therapy 3 days after, and someone checked in 2 days after me. Obviously, everyone knew I was in the Priory, Roehampton. I'd never even heard of rehab before I went there. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know that you could go to a rehab centre like Betty Falls and all this. It wasn't really talked about. And I had the same thing in there. I was in mini groups, so I was new. And this person sat in there and they had to talk about their experiences. And they just didn't know what the fuck to say. And the counsellor really sounded them out. And he went, I've got to come clean. I'm in here. He said, I'm in here to get your story.
What did you do? I would have
They just went, get her out the room, get her out now.
Did you not go? I would have gone mad.
No, I was too ill to even think. And they went, I've got to become open with you. I can't do it to you. You really need to save your life. He said, I'm a journalist. He said, I work for the Sunday People. He said, I've been brought in here to get your story.
Do you feel like you've ever really been given the chance to heal from what you're going through? Like with your...
I've had lots of chances to heal. When I was married to Kevin, he obviously owned a big company. And he did, for all our ups and downs, I've got not a bad word to say about my ex-husband. He saved my life. He gave me every opportunity. He gave me the most wonderful life for my kids. And we grew apart in the end. Grew up and grew apart. And, things became hard. And he was a great dad, great father, but he never ever once called me like see you in tea or anything. It was horrible to me. Never beat me. Never effed and blinded me in front of my kids. He was like not a perfect husband, but I'm one of them people. What my old man says goes. I'm very old-fashioned traveller type values, and I'm like, if I won't argue when I'm out, his word is final. And if I've got something to say about it, I'll say it after the kids have gone to bed or in our own private time. We'll have a discussion about it, but I won't. He was the dad, the father, and his word was final. I'm like that. And we run a tight ship, and I had the best marriage. I loved my marriage. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And there was a few reasons, obviously, why it ended in the end, how it ended, and why it ended. And it, like every marriage. But I still, and it's one of my. I actually say I was thinking about this yesterday on my birthday. I was sitting thinking, I thought, actually, my biggest regret is splitting up with my husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why
it really
is that?
Because I think he's the only person that's ever really loved me.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's the only person that ever really loved me. He had my best interests at heart. And for all his faults, he had a million things that were better.
It's one of the questions I had for you, actually.
And he was a great father.
At the end of the podcast, and I was going to ask you, what is the kindest thing someone's ever done for you, and what did that teach you about love? And I think that this fits what you're saying now.
I think the kindest thing anyone... I'm going to get upset.
Oh, don't get upset.
I'm going to get upset. Just give me a sec.
Of course.
I think the kindest thing anyone's ever done for me
Oh, don't get upset.
He just cut me out their life.
Really?
And my kids have done it on more than one occasion to save themselves.
Aw, that's really made me upset.
No,
actually.
but it's true because they've done it because they can't watch me hurt myself anymore. And it's made me fix up. Because my love for them is more than my love for a drug or myself or anything else. So I think that's the kindest thing anyone's ever done for me.
And do you feel like...
So I think in this industry, people will play, as you well know, play lip service to you and you can get what you want. And that's just all crap. Because when you enter the day, when you're sitting on your own at night and you're in bed, that's not love.
No.
That just makes you more sick and more fantastic, more egotistical than... It's not real life.
And you say that the kindest thing they've done is...
Maybe sad, but it's true.
Is to cut you off. Do you feel like them doing that has made you change your life?
Yeah, because it makes me proud of them as well, because I brought them kids up to be strong.
And do you feel like
that? And that makes me strong, and they inspire me.
Yeah.
And there's times we'll talk and we'll argue, like every mum and kids do, and we don't talk for a couple of months, and because I'm a brat. I'll be honest, I'm a bigger brat than them two are. It's like I say, I'm the adult and you're the kid, and Carl goes, we're the adults and you're like a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, but he's right. And him and Jodie are great, and they've got such a great relationship. I'm very proud of both of them. And the fact that they can still put me first by saying, listen, we're stepping back from this because you need to do what you've got to do because we're just enabling. And that's not helping you, and we're not.
Do you think
that shows me love, and that shows me I need to fix up. That's another trigger. I'm doing this because they can see me going down that road. You're going to relapse if you carry on like this.
Really?
You're going to do this, isn't it, Mum? You're not listening.
And what do they think? What are your triggers for relapsing?
As Kai said, every day's a different day, and every day's different. And I've got I've got borderline psychosis, split personality disorder, ADHD. I've got trauma PTSD. I've got all sorts of stuff. And when I was in America, I was on like 14 different tablets a day. I used to rattle.
I wanted to talk about the transition to America. So how did that happen?
I went to treatment. We had a place out there in California.
Who?
Me and Kevin.
Yeah.
We had a house out there. We used to be out there 3-4 months a year. And then we just, when the company went and stuff like that, we moved over. Mm-hmm. And I had, I wanted to do something totally different. So Sharon Osbourne is a good friend of mine, and she was like, well, what are you going to do out here?
She's got the best stories ever.
And I was like,
I feel like...
She went, do you want to act out here? Like, who are you going to go to? Where are you going to go? I was like, I don't know. I said, I don't want to act, really. I just want to be a mum.
Yeah.
So I've been a mum at home because I've had that ability, that luxury of... My husband had a multi-million-pound company, the biggest dispatch company in the UK, like absolutely massive. I didn't have to do anything. Mm-hmm. I lived in a £3.5 million house. I had 6 cars of my own on the drive. I had anything I wanted, I could have. Not in a sport way, but there was no... I didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
So... And I didn't use all that stuff, that stuff. I would just love being a mum. Mm-hmm. I loved doing the clubs. I was on the PTA. I was doing, I did all the bits. I was a cheer mum. I was a football mum,
Yeah.
So, and I loved all that. And I'm so grateful for Kevin to let me have those 14 years of being at every sports day, never winning the mother's race.
Yeah.
Every sports day, every school play. I've never missed a thing with my kids.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that,
So did you basically have a break from your career when you was in America?
No, that was in England. I'd done that. So when I went to America, I thought, Sharon, when are you going to go and work at this? And I went, do you know what? No. Mm. She said, well, what do you want to do? You've got to do something with your life. Because Kevin was back and forth with the business and stuff. I was like, do you know what? I don't like people.
Yeah.
Without being rude, I like my dogs. Yeah. I'm an animal. Horses and dogs is me. That's me. I love animals. She said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a dog groomer.
No way.
So I went and did a full dog grooming course, and I had a doggy daycare, doggy hotel, and a full dog groomers, and it was called Buckingham Palace.
No way, what, in America?
Yeah, and it was all done out like a palace, because they love the Brits and they love the royal family.
Yeah.
So I did it out like a palace with the big silver mirrors and the dogs sitting the thing, and then I had a big doggy daycare.
Yeah.
And I used to do the guy that does all the animals, the bears and the wolves and that for Twilight and stuff. He used to bring his wolves into me. I used to groom them.
That's crazy.
I used to do Kobe Bryant's dog, all the Jackass boys. I did all their stuff. Sharon's Poms I used to do. So the doggy daycare.
But that's quite a big jump, though, Dan.
I loved it.
It's a big change.
I did show poodles. I could dye hair.
But you've gone from being on the biggest show in England to then... So you were just craving normality?
I just wanted to do... I think I've been at home in England for so long at home. We went out there and nobody knew I was. Mm-hmm. And it was great.
Yeah.
And I love my church out there. I love my pastor out there. And they're all ex-addicts in recovery, skateboarders, and big well-known skateboarders opened a church, found God for the church. I just felt alive living there. And my kids went to school there and the yellow buses and stuff. And like, I'll never forget when Kai went to middle school, and it was like when High School Musical came out. And Kai's middle school was next door to Jodie's elementary school, and then they go on to high school when they're like 15. It was Kai's first day, and he had like that Bieber haircut thing going
Bless
on.
him, yeah.
Yeah, and he realised that having an English accent was going to get him loads of girls.
Oh, I bet.
Whereas Jodie was like 5, and she was like, Mom,
Oh,
can't you know? She had the whole full California thing going on. Yeah. I'm cranky and all that stuff. Like, Kai's like, what? You knew that. Where he speaks Spanish, his dad's Spanish. So all the Mexican kids, he just got on well with everyone.
Yeah.
So and he's doing all his fighting out there, his jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, MMA, when we were kids, the kids out there. And it was just great. And I remember his first day walking in there for something, to go and see something, about the football team, or going to a football game there. You know, the pre-season football games, they've got all the band and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we walked through the thing to take Jodie to the toilet. And I went to Kai, can you take me in to take Jodie to the toilet? So he's like, yeah. And we walked down the corridor, it was just all lockers. And me and Jodie looked at each other, we both went, we're all in this. Kai went up, we started singing High School Musical. Kai was like, get away from me, you're so embarrassing.
That's so funny.
We started singing the Zac Efron thing.
Yeah.
He was like, don't ever come to my school again.
That's hilarious. So what made you move back to England?
We had a few problems. Kevin had a few problems and his health problems and stuff, and we had to come back.
Okay.
And we had just had the best time out. We grew as a family out there.
Did you move back there?
No, because my kids are here.
If they was like over there, would you go there?
Yeah, my kids won't stay here in this country anyway.
Yeah.
They will both probably. Kai will go to Spain. His family's in Spain.
Yeah.
His nan and granddad are in Spain. I think they're buying a place together at the moment in Spain, the pair of them. Looking at some old finca in Spain that they're doing up. It's got like 6 properties on there.
Oh, that's
I think they're going to do that. Kai wants this whole commune thing where so's mum and dad, and you've got old mum, there's a place there for you, and we can all live in this.
Oh, yeah.
Kai's all into that organic growth. And,
I love
he loves
that
all
for
that.
him, yeah.
He's great. Kai's very, very, very intelligent guy. And Jodie too, she works really hard.
Thank you for watching On The Record with Chloe B. As you guys know, this podcast is exclusively sponsored by Ryan at Change. If you are interested in getting involved with Change, which is an e-commerce scaling business, then make sure you reach out to Ryan JB on Instagram, and he'll be there to guide you through the process. Thank you again.